Top of the morning to you. It's Friday, the 25th of August, only 4 months until Christmas. WCKY News Time is 7:06. We have Skywatch traffic with Kevin Christopher and our entire team. And Nashif is back at Weather Command. I'm Brian Patrick.
I'm Telly Mamayak. In the WCKY News headlines, a fatal hit and run on the Brent Spence Bridge. A prison farm uprising in Indiana has been put down, and more talks coming up in the Ohio Bell strike.
Ben Crenshaw takes the lead at the World Series of Golf. John Popovich, 1530 Sports.
You know, Ann, I had to count out on my fingers how many months it was until
I know,
Christmas.
I saw you.
That's sort of a cooling thought after some fairly muggy weather.
Yeah, I was going to say you're pushing things just a little bit, but then I remember John was talking about high school football starting tonight.
Yeah, we're getting into fall, and you know what comes next?
September's next
Christmas
week.
shopping, yeah.
Thanksgiving, Halloween, it's all coming
Kids
up.
are back to school.
Yeah, already. You got rid of them so soon. Temperature is going to be pretty decent today, too. It could be the first day of fall, but of course it's going to jump back up into the 80s for the weekend. Today's high should only be about 78, and it looks a lot better than it has the last couple weeks. Some clouds this morning, but it should clear out a little bit this afternoon. Chance of rain is only 20% today and tonight if you're heading out to the football games. Partly cloudy tonight with a low about 65. Tomorrow's high up to 85, and it looks like we're back to the old rainy weekends in Cincinnati. A 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow. Right now it's mostly cloudy. There's a little bit of fog in places, and the temperature is 66 degrees.
AAA brings you this Skywatch traffic update on WCKY. Let's begin coverage with Kevin Christopher.
Watch for an accident eastbound on 275 east of the Forest Fair Mall. So if you're getting on from Winton Road, that could slow you down a few minutes there. Let's check now with Dennis Burke and get an update of the traffic situation downtown.
Let's keep in the swing of things, Kevin. Happy New Year to you. Hey, no complaints here. We're doing well just about everywhere. Southbound 75 is even better than usual for this hour past Western Avenue. Kathy Jensen not aboard this morning. Kev, you got it.
All right, got an accident with injuries on Marathon Edenton Road. It's about a half mile from State Route 133. And Blue Ash firefighters have been called to the 8500 block of Kenwood Road. Got a report of a dumpster fire at Blue Ash Elementary School. Kevin Christopher, WCKY Skywatch.
Attention back-to-school shoppers. The Discover card actually pays you cash for every charge. So when you're out buying new computers, new clothes, or new athletic equipment, just use the Discover card and earn cash. Up to 1% back every year based on your annual purchases. After all, why should school kids be the only ones who get to earn extra credit? It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
In just a couple of minutes, John Popovich will join us with our WCKY Friday Morning Sports, WCKY News Time, coming up on 7:10.
Police say a woman and a man walking across the Spence Bridge early this morning were hit by a car and that the driver of the auto left the scene. They say the woman was killed and that her companion was taken to UC Hospital. At the hospital, a spokesman reported the man in critical condition. Names of the victims have not yet been released. Police say a car believed to be the one that hit the two pedestrians has been located, but they say nothing about making an arrest. We'll have additional information as soon as it becomes available. Near Carrollton, Kentucky, there are now markers on each side of I-71 bearing the words, Site of Fatal Bus Crash, May 14, 1988. The markers were erected by the state, and they may be the only ones of their kind in the nation, according to a Transportation Department official. The signs were put up to commemorate the accident last year, in which 27 people died. Officials say guards had to break out tear gas to end a disturbance last night at the Indiana Penal Farm at Putnamville. They say there were no serious injuries. Tom Hanlon, superintendent at the prison farm, says he isn't sure what caused the uprising by about 46 inmates. WCKY News Time coming up on 7:11. One local expert says the Pete Rose suspension could be bad news for anyone with Rose baseball cards or memorabilia. More on that story from WCKY's Doug Whiteman.
Steve Klippel at the Baseball Card Exchange downtown says it's possible the value of Pete Rose cards will dip.
I think it's going to take about a month before the new monthly guides come out to see if overall nationwide if there's a decrease in price. There might be a slight decrease. I think the price in Cincinnati should stay just about the same for, a couple months.
Rose has not been stingy with his autograph, and at some recent events he has charged for his John Hancock, but Klippel says neither high supply nor scandal should have much effect on the value of autographed items. Klippel says there will always be fans wanting a signature of Pete Rose. Doug Whiteman, 1530 WCKY News.
More talks are set for today as negotiators try to end the strike against Ohio Bell. Bargaining between the company and the Communications Workers of America resumed yesterday for the first time since the strike started 12 days ago. About 10,000 Ohio Bell workers are off the job. A big layoff is reported in Louisville at the GE plant. The company says at least 800 employees will be laid off between now and late October. And the unemployment rate in Kentucky last month fell to 6.1%, and state officials say that matches the low rate for the decade recorded in October of last year. And this late note, a woman has been arrested and charged with manslaughter in the second degree in this morning's accident on the Brent Spence Bridge. More later on that.
WCKY News Time 7:12. We have sports next.
Hallmark has a way to make somebody's day.
Hallmark presents Shoebox sweatshirts with funny designs from Shoebox greeting cards. They're a $19.95 value, but they're just $6.95 with any $5 Hallmark purchase. Just check the ad in your Sunday paper for a participating Hallmark store while supplies last. Hallmark Shoebox sweatshirts at a price that's nothing to laugh at.
Let's check on sports now at 7:13 with WCKY's John Popovich.
Good morning, everyone. For the first time since 1963, Major League Baseball is being played tonight without Pete Rose being involved in one way or another. The Reds take on the Pirates tonight at Riverfront Stadium, and it's Tommy Helms, not Pete Rose, who will be filling out the lineup card.
It's been a very sad day. The only good thing about it, he did call me today, and he says, now listen, if they offer you the job, you take the job.
Meanwhile, just because Pete is gone from the game doesn't mean his case won't be debated. Former Tigers pitcher Denny McLain, a guy who was suspended from baseball for his gambling connections, says he's read the Dowd report. In his mind, Pete is guilty.
I'm telling you, you have to be deaf, dumb, and dead to believe that he didn't bet on baseball based upon all of the allegations within the 2,000 pages.
But others, especially former teammates, have stuck staunchly by his side. Former manager of Sparky Anderson says whatever happens now, you can't take away what Pete Rose did on the playing field.
It's like Babe Ruth, you know. We've heard wonderful, wonderful tales about the Babe, but his records are there for everybody to look at.
Again, the Reds play the Pirates tonight. Rick Mailer goes for his 10th win. Major League Baseball last night, the Cardinals beat the Braves while the Pirates took the Astros. American League Toronto split with the Yanks. Toronto beat the Tigers 3 in a row. California cooled off Kansas City. Cleveland beat Seattle again. Minnesota topped the White Sox. High school football gets started in a big way tonight. High school action all three states. St. Xavier and Middletown, Boone County and Elder, Goshen and Forest Park look like prime matchups tonight. Ben Crenshaw is the first-round leader at the World Series of Golf in Akron. He opened with a 6-under par 64 and a 3-stroke lead over Jody Mudd. Rosie Jones and Betsy King are far ahead of the pack after first day's play at the LPGA World Championships. Those are in Beaufort, Georgia. John Popovich, 1530 WCKY Sports.
No, it's a little too early for tequila. Thanks. WCKY News Time is 7:16. It's mostly cloudy, 66 degrees. Good morning. I'm Brian Patrick, and here's Telly Mamayak.
Attorneys for former Cincinnati financier Marvin Warner will be trying to convince a federal bankruptcy judge in Jacksonville, Florida today that Warner's assets should not be liquidated. Creditors have been trying to collect a total of nearly $4.5 billion from Warner ever since his home state savings bank collapsed in March of '85. Warner argues he wasn't given adequate notice of the court's plans to convert his case from Chapter 11 to Chapter 7, which calls for appointment of a trustee to proceed with liquidation. That trustee, which took over yesterday, vows to sell off all of Warner's assets. The Internal Revenue Service is demanding that Ohio Congressman James Traficant pay more than $464,000 in delinquent taxes and penalties, even though Traficant is challenging the bill in an appeals court. Officials say the action stems from the fact that Traficant failed to post an $89,000 appeal bond. Former PTL Vice President Richard Dortch says he knew that what he was doing was wrong. Dortch was sentenced in Charlotte, North Carolina yesterday to 8 years in prison and a $200,000 fine. He was charged with bilking millions of dollars from followers of the television ministry. Meanwhile, PTL founder Jim Baker goes on trial Monday. Legislative leaders in Columbus facing such difficult issues as abortion, drugs, and campaign financing have abandoned plans for a September session of the General Assembly. Senate President Stan Aronoff says all that's planned now for the rest of this year is a 1 or 2 day session in October to tie up some loose ends. Aronoff says he and House Speaker Vern Reif have discussed possibly taking up a major bill dealing with drug and alcohol abuse at the October session, but otherwise he says it's unlikely that lawmakers will act on any high-priority issues before next year.
Coming up the next few minutes on News Talk 1530 WCKY, we'll have the latest Skywatch traffic, our morning business news. We have travelers' weather, auto tips. WCKY News Time 7:18. Here's your Weather Command forecast for the tri-state. Mostly cloudy this morning, but by this afternoon we're expecting partly sunny skies and partly cloudy skies tonight. Today's high 78, so it will be pleasantly cool. The low tonight 65. Showers and thunderstorms are likely with a high near 85 for your Saturday tomorrow. This morning, mostly cloudy, 66 degrees, easterly winds at 10 with 90% relative humidity. Schmidt Aviation brings you Skywatch traffic this morning. Here's Kevin Christopher.
Police are cleaning up an accident right now eastbound on 275 east of the Forest Fair Mall. Let's check with Dennis Burke on the traffic downtown.
A bit of haze moving into downtown right now. Does not appear to be a visibility factor. Traffic continues moderate to heavy and doing very, very well. Kev?
Got a car in the no parking lane on West 8th near Wells. Got a van fire in southern Campbell County. This is on Route 10 near Carthage Road. If you've got a car phone and you spot a traffic problem, call WCKY's news tip line. The number to call is 621-NEWS. Kevin Christopher, WCKY's Skywatch.
Conserve valuable time on your next business trip by chartering a plane from Schmidt Aviation. You'll take off when you're ready and fly home again when your business is completed. No airport hassles, no lost time juggling flight schedules. Simple and efficient. Call Schmidt at 984-5880 for more information.